Live, local, late breaking. This is NewsWatch 12, breaking news.
Breaking news tonight, CAL FIRE law enforcement has arrested a suspect in the Montana fire. Thanks for joining us for NewsWatch 12 at 6. I'm Samantha Cadera. The Montana fire was first reported around 6 p.m. on Tuesday in Montague. It burned 20 acres before firefighters were able to fully contain it. An investigation determined the fire was caused by an illegal burn. 53-year-old Adam Huddleston is now facing felony and misdemeanor charges. He's lodged in the Siskiyou County Jail with his bail set at $100,000. Now, in our top story tonight, we are taking a closer look at how this year's Upper Applegate response unfolded and why it's playing out so differently from last year. I was on the front lines with fire crews to see the effort in action, and this year's fire sparked nearly in the same spot under nearly the same conditions, but the results are very different. It's smaller, less damaging, and that's no coincidence. The Upper Applegate fire has burned 468 acres so far, with containment well past 70% while crews are still mopping up. The scale of this year's fire is notably smaller than the one that burned here last June.
Behind us on this hillside is the only area where the Upper Applegate fire actually burned down to a road system. This is where firefighters were able to hold it off and keep it from spreading.
Last year's fire in the same area reached more than 1,100 acres and cost just over $7.2 million to fight. This year's cost is still being tracked, but officials expect it to be significantly less.
Last year, we still had a lot of those folks in those trainings. They were leaving the classroom to come to respond to the Upper Applegate fire. So it made a huge difference as far as response.
Will early staffing become a standard practice moving forward?
We're going to do everything that we can to just keep furthering this effort for response readiness and bringing people on early.
Crews with the Bureau of Land Management spent the winter cutting and removing thousands of dead trees along key access roads throughout the Upper Applegate to shave response time and protect firefighters.
This road had thousands of dead trees. It would have taken firefighters a long time to be able to come in here and cut out the trees and make it a safe access point. They might have even not come to the spot.
BLM told me that thinning projects like this one are one of the most effective tools to reduce fire severity, but the pace of that work is falling short of regional goals.
We only have enough funding and staff to be able to treat somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 acres a year. So we know we're behind. So if this work hadn't been completed, if this fire had gotten bigger, there would have been an added cost, not to mention the time and effort and risk to firefighters of having to come into a stand full of dead trees.
Logs removed from last year's fire area totaled enough wood to build more than 80 homes, but agencies say the remaining threat both from fire and fuel remains high without continued mitigation.
While BLM's out here doing this work in the winter, we're also doing mitigation work where we can. It becomes the responsibility of the landowner and the folks who live in these areas to make sure that they're doing what they can to create defensible space. And not only is that going to help firefighters protect their home in the event of a wildfire nearby, but it could protect their whole neighborhood.
Now let's check in with Storm Tracker 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Hoffman. Matt, we know it's supposed to get warmer throughout the rest of the weekend. Yeah. Should we be worried about possible fire conditions?
Yeah, I mean, we have had fairly dry weather and things continue to dry out. We will show you the drought monitor update in a little bit, but with the heat building this weekend, along with some areas still seeing some breezy conditions, fire weather is going to be a concern. We're also tracking the threat for thunderstorms, and of course lightning is an issue this time of the year. Best storm chances look to be on Monday. In the meantime, just mostly sunny skies out there right now. A very quiet evening shaping up across the region. 87 degrees currently in Medford. It's 80 in Klamath Falls, 85 in Montague. We're at 61 degrees in Gold Beach and Brookings. Winds a bit breezy out there. We're seeing some higher gusts in the Rogue Valley, up to 23 miles per hour. The latest gust in Medford as well as down in Montague. Winds will die down for tonight. We'll drop down to about 55 degrees tonight in Medford, 45 in Klamath Falls. Some of the marine layer clouds and fog will return to parts of the coast tonight, including in Brookings. But in general, tomorrow, mostly sunny throughout the region. Even for the coast, winds will pick up as well throughout southern Oregon and northern California. California in the afternoon, and expect high temperatures to nudge up a bit, and that's just a sign of what's to come. Here's a look at your pool day planner for the Rogue Valley. Well into the 80s by 3 o'clock, 86 degrees. That UV index will be very high. Don't forget sunscreen, but it gets even hotter as we move into this weekend. We'll take a complete look at your weekend forecast coming up in just a bit. Samantha?
Matt, thank you. And right now, the Medford School Board is meeting and discussing the possibility of closing the Medford Online Academy. Student enrollment at Medford Online Academy have steadily declined, making it difficult to maintain resources. The closure would be effective June 30th, with online learning options available for impacted students at the middle and high schools. Action will be taken on the item in tonight's school board meeting. And Rogue Community College is enrolling students for a free fast-track early childhood education program. The program offers a supportive, hands-on learning experience for those interested in becoming early childhood educators or teaching assistants. The program includes free tuition and books, real classroom experience, and more. The program is funded by a grant that will cover tuition and books for 30 students. And today is a big day for healthcare access in Curry County. The Curry Health Network has broken ground on its new 8-bedroom infusion center. Curry County residents who are diagnosed with cancer have to drive at least 90 miles to receive chemo transfusions. Some residents have to cross the California border and risk insurance restrictions. Today marks a huge step in developing the center that's set to open in spring of 2026.
The addition of providing chemotherapy, we'll probably be looking at trying to expand perhaps later, in a couple of years down the line, we find that we really need radiation here too. So kind of the sky's the limit.
Right now, you're looking at a rendering of what this infusion center is going to look like when finished. Curry Health Network has received funding federally for the extension and is working to get funding from the state to help pay for the $9 million building. And today is the beginning of a new and exciting chapter in accessible healthcare in Curry County. And a new park in Medford is nearly complete. There was a ribbon cutting ceremony today at Howard School Park. The $2.3 million project began last July, and the 9.2-acre neighborhood park brings in new amenities for the community to enjoy, such as pickleball courts, a splash pad, a dog park, and Medford's first lap set interactive equipment. This offers an interactive and engaging way for kids to play with the new toys.
The key is to try to keep the older parks up to a modern standard, and that's what we accomplished here with this park. One of the older parks in the system. Now it does not look old.
The park is now fully open to the community, and Rosenthal says the park is not just for the kids, it's not just for the kids to enjoy, but as well for the adults. This project was made possible through a combination of funding sources from several organizations. And we have continuing coverage on the possible cougar sighting that was reported yesterday in Eagle Point. According to Eagle Point Police Department, officers were not able to find the animal. While the cougar was not found, the police has opened Lucas Park to the public today. Although the park is open, officers say they will continue to monitor the area closely. Police have flagged the trail off of Arrowhead Trail as closed, and NewsWatch 12 spoke with Chief Hamilton from Eagle Point Police on what to do if you encounter a cougar.
The advice that we received, and it's pretty consistent with most wildlife, is kind of leave them alone and they'll move out of the area, especially if there's nothing there to attract them, because they're always looking for food. They're in survival mode, so if there's nothing there for them, they're going to move on.
Chief Hamilton says just because police didn't see it doesn't mean it wasn't there. He tells us to call 911 and stay clear if you see a cougar, and recommends to keep your animals inside and to look at your security cameras for any possible movement. If you do see the animal walking around, make sure to share it with the police. And the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife is urging people to leave wild fawns alone as calf and fawn season is here. ODFW says deer do not abandon their fawns, they hide them while they find food. If you come across a fawn on their own, it's best to leave them alone. Removing the fawn from the wild is not only illegal, it may reduce its chances of survival to 0. Keep your distance and call ODFW if you believe an animal needs help. And on to a money alert, the Department of Interior is announcing more than $31 million in payments in lieu of taxes from Oregon counties. Take a look at the funds coming to southern Oregon counties. Jackson County receiving the most in our region with more than $2 million. PILT funds are distributed based on federal land acreage and population in each county. These are to compensate local governments for the inability to tax federal lands, supporting community services including road maintenance, fire protection, and law enforcement. And a bill heading to Governor Tina Kotek's desk could be double funding for the Oregon Energy Assistance Program. House Bill 3792 passed in the Oregon legislature this morning. The bill protects qualifying customers of Portland General Electricity and Pacific Power from having their service disconnected when they fall behind on electric bills. And during summertime, many kids start making lemonade stands and selling to its community. But for a 13-year-old, he started selling lemonade 2 years ago to help him buy some new baseball equipment. Jake wakes up at 6 in the morning to prepare his lemonade and wakes up to make the lemonade by himself, and all of the supplies for it come out of his own pocket. He strolls up to the corner of his street carrying his lemonade supplies in a cart, and Jake says the support of the community he's been selling out of his lemonade and people have provided him with new gifts.
Mostly when I saw other kids having better equipment and I didn't have the best stuff. And then people started donating. Like I got a pair of cleats for free, a bat, and people are just so nice and helping and do it.
Jake says his parents always try to help him whenever they can, and his stand is located at the intersection of Table Rock Road and Berrydale Avenue in Medford. Now that he's on summer vacation, Jake tries to sell his lemonade at least 5 days a week, including today.